Hey, how are you? I am Chris Robin, aka at Detroit Beastie, here with Team Riser Fall to talk some Thursday night football action. The San Francisco 49ers head to Seattle to take on the Seahawks in Luminell Field. The 12th man, gonna be crazy, gonna be raucous. Before I get into all the over-under stuff, my player projections, and my DFS plays, that's why you're here, DFS. All the other stuff can fall by the wayside. DFS, first and foremost, here at Team Riser Fall. Before I get into all that, make sure you go to the website at Team Riser Fall, and when you get there, you can use my promo code. It's on the jersey behind me. I got the golden microphone back there. When you get there, use promo code Beastie. You'll get $10 off your first month of premium services. And look, it is what is it? It's December 15th by the time you're watching this thing. We're 10 days away from Christmas. Have you bought all the presents for your friends and family yet? How about you give out some memberships here at Team Riser Fall for the fan, for the woman, girl, little kid, man, whoever likes DFS or sports. This be perfect. You can get your youngest son or your daughter, whoever you want, you can get them into DFS right here and now at Team Riser Fall. All jokes aside, you get so much here in terms of tabs. You get a fantasy cruncher voucher that rolls over. You can crunch to your heart's content. I don't know why I keep saying that, but hey, here we are. Get there and use this promo code Beastie. You'll thank me later. NFL is rolling, NBA, NHL, everything over unders is here. UFC, NASCAR, golf. I mean, if the sport is being played and you can bet on it, you can bet your bottom dollar, your bottom buns that you can find it here at Team Riser Fall. All right, enough with the nonsense. It's been about 3 minutes. Let's talk about San Francisco at Seattle, shall we? When we look at this thing, kickoff is at 8:15 p.m. The over-under right now is at about 43 points. And you know, when we look at this here, we're going to be splitting hairs. I'm staying away from the over-under. I have a betting lean, on one team or another, and it includes a home team here. That's all I'll say. It's not no secret. Seattle's the home team here. But let's get into this game here. When we look at what's going to go on here, there's a lot to like and there's a lot to sift through, and hopefully you can hang here for 10 or 15 minutes while we look this thing out. When we look at what San Francisco has done as of late, they've won 6 games in a row. They've been outstanding. Their defense is insane to me. And they've had injuries like most other teams, but they keep putting pieces in and swapping them out. And the San Francisco 49ers defense has been unbelievable. I think they're only allowing 15.2 points or something a game, which is first in the NFL. And when you look at what happened last week, I mean, they just beat the bejesus out of Tampa Bay and Tom Brady. If you remember correctly, it was 35-7 was the final score. And by halftime, it was like, what are we doing? Can we get another game on the channel unless you got red zone or any of that stuff here? So Brock Purdy looked pretty dang good. And again, they broke him in, or however you want to put it, at home. But going to Seattle is a different beast, right? It's not as raucous and crazy as it used to be, but Seattle is still a tough place to play. It's loud. It's going to be cold. It's going to be dreary. So we're going to see what Brock Purdy is made of. However, he ran for 2 touchdowns. That was beautiful. And he threw one touchdown, and he threw one to Christian McCaffrey, who accumulated, I think, 153 yards. And so to me, it's all about McCaffrey and Purdy. What can these two do? What can these two do together? When we look at Seattle here, they're 7-6. It's kind of ho-humming along here, a lot better than we thought they were going to be with Geno Smith. Let's talk about players here, shall we? Brock Purdy. When you look at him, Seattle right now 16th overall against opposing quarterbacks. Brock Purdy, $15,000 on Yahoo or FanDuel. On DraftKings, he's $9,600, and on Yahoo, he's $26. When we look at Purdy here, 21 completions, 230 yards. Going to take and run the ball 3 or 4 times for another 15 yards. I think Purdy's got another 2 touchdowns in him, whichever way you slice it, in the air, on the ground, mix and match both of them. So Purdy, to me, makes for a nice move, but let's temper our expectations in Seattle here. That's all I'm going to tell you. You're free and clear to do as you see fit. When we look at Geno Smith, right now, Frisco, very tough. The DVP is going to be not good across the board here, so we have to make do. Geno Smith, 14.5 on FanDuel, $10,600 on DraftKings. He's $28 on Yahoo. When you look at Geno Smith, you're going to get 23 to 24 completions out of this kid, 250 yards. I think we got 4 or 5 carries for another 15, maybe 20 yards in there. And I think Geno Smith is good for 2 touchdowns in any way you slice it. Again, in the air, on the ground, a mixture of both. So to me, both quarterbacks are in play, which is kind of a stark difference. If you watch these videos and you follow my content, I thank you very much. But when you look at single game slates, I'm always fading the quarterbacks, and we come out no worse for wear on the other end. But tonight, however you want to put it, both quarterbacks are in play. When we look at the running backs here, It's Christian McCaffrey's world, and we're just living in it. Seattle, and as it stands now, Seattle 31st overall against opposing running backs. CMC should have one heck of a game here. 17-5 on FanDuel, 11-4 on DK, and $38 on Yahoo. 17-18 carries, 80 yards. That would be beautiful. 5-6 receptions for another 50 yards, so well over 100 total all-purpose yards and a touchdown. Again, which way is he going to score it? Does it matter? It all counts the same. In the air, on the ground, I'll leave that decision up to you. Christian McCaffrey, a must-have here tonight. When we look at the other San Francisco running backs, not much going on. Jordan Mason, maybe $7,000 on FanDuel, 4-8 on DK, $13 on Yahoo. Jordan Mason, 8-9 carries, 40 yards. Can make for a pivot if you're going to enter a large amount of lineups in some sort of big GPP, and that is about it. Or the young kid, Tyrion Davis-Price, not much going on, $6,000 on FanDuel, $200 on DraftKings, and $10 on Yahoo, 2 to 3 carries, 10 yards, 1 or 2 targets. If that, we can look elsewhere. It's all good. It's Christian McCaffrey's world. We're just living in it. When we look at the Seattle running backs, this is so good to hear. Ken Walker III, the rookie from Michigan State, no injury designation headed into tonight's game. So when you look at Ken Walker, 12-5 on FanDuel, 7-6 on DK, $24 on Yahoo. The only bummer here is that Frisco first overall against opposing running backs. But hey, syndrome. But it's like you don't know what you don't know, right? Ken Walker, his rookie year, he's just give me the ball and I'm going to run it. So to me, Ken Walker makes for some, not sneaky move, but it's like kind of like that beginner's luck kind of thing. So to me, Ken Walker, 15-16 carries, 60 yards, 2 or 3 receptions for another 20 yards here. So we're going to get close to around 90 to 100 all-purpose yards. But to me, Kenneth Walker, can we survive the slate without him? Absolutely. As a fan, as just a football guy, would you love to see him go off and play well? Absolutely. I will leave that decision up to you. When you look at the price tags here, he can be faded on FanDuel, 12-5. That's a lot given a single game slate, but on DraftKings only 7-6, and on Yahoo, as I said, $24. Travis Homer, Tony Jones, they're relegated to the bench given the health of Ken Walker III. So to me, he's the only guy in this game at running back that I would give a dang about if I was only playing 10 or 15 lines here. When we look at the wide receivers, it's a tough thing, and we wish, I know I do, I wish Debo the best. Thank goodness it's nothing crazy. It looks like a high ankle sprain. When we saw the play on Sunday, it looked like there was no meat left on his bone. I'm not trying to be funny, but the way that they rolled over on his leg, it looked like he would be done for potentially a year and having knee reconstructive surgery, but that's not the case. Hopefully we see Debo sometime later in the season or in the playoffs, as San Francisco is cruising that way. So we have to make other plans, right? It's the holidays. We got to pivot. We got to make plans. I don't want to go to the in-laws house. What are we going to do? So let's run with Brandon Ayuk. I mean, he's next man up, and Ayuk's been pretty dang good so far this year. However, Seattle 6th overall against opposing wide receivers. When you look at Ayuk, $13,000 on FanDuel, $8,800 on DraftKings, only $18 on Yahoo, 8-9 targets, 5 or 6 receptions, 70 yards, and I have it written in red here. Are there going to be any carries for any of the other San Francisco wide receivers? We know Debo really made a name for himself last year, not only catching the ball, but taking the ball out of the backfield, swing passes, or just straight carries here. Are they going to open is Shanahan going to open his book here and give Ayuk a couple carries? Is it going to go to Ray? Is it going to go to Juwan Jennings? I don't know, but Brandon Ayuk needs to be on the map here. When we look at the other Frisco wide receivers, Jennings, Ray McLeod, Danny Gray might even be in play here. It looks like Juwan Jennings is the guy I'm going to want at least. He's 8-5 on FanDuel, 3-6 on DK, $13 on Yahoo. Juwan, 5 or 6 targets, 3 to 4 receptions, around 40 yards. I think that's a nice stat line. Ray McLeod, 7-5 on FanDuel, only $1,200 on DK, $10 on Yahoo. Ray, 3 to 4 targets, 2 to 3 receptions, and around 20 to 25 yards would be nice. Danny Gray, if you're in a pinch, you want to get like crazy contrarian, that's fine. You're only looking at 1 or 2 targets, 1 or 2 receptions, 10 or 12 yards, and that's fine. When we look at the Seattle wide receivers, this is the one and only place that we can attack San Francisco on their defense, and maybe we can get away with it. Frisco right now, they're 22nd overall against opposing wide receivers. So if you're like me, or I hate to tell people what to do, I just do these videos, as a, well, if you want to, as a, not a DIY video, but if you're like me, this is what I'm going to do. So to me, DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are going to be stone cold stud locks in all the lines I do. MVP, captain, and then you know what I mean, flex and vice versa. So when we look at DK Metcalf, 12 grand on FanDuel, $10,000 on DK, 23 bucks on Yahoo. DK Metcalf, to me, a lock for a touchdown tonight, makes for a nice little parlay with Christian McCaffrey and even George Kittle. Getting ahead of myself for anytime touchdown bets. But when you look at Metcalf, 9 to 10 targets, I'm thinking, 5 or 6 receptions, about 80 yards. And Tyler Lockett, no slouch himself. We see him week after week get behind that defense. He's slippery. I don't know what he's putting on his clothes or his jersey, but Lockett, 11.5 on FanDuel, 10.2 on DK, $24 on Yahoo. Lockett, 8 or 9 targets, 6 to 7 receptions, and 70 yards himself. So I'm saying it now, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, they are locks in every single lineup I put in. I don't care if there's 1,000 of them, and I'll go to the grave. I'll eat the loss if DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett do absolutely nothing. But if I know this and you know this, then I'm sure the San Francisco coaches know this as well. When we look at the likes of Marquise Goodwin, all good, 8 grand on FanDuel, 6.4 on DK. You want to play the DK Metcalf game and pair him with Goodwin? Have at it. You want to play the Lockett and Goodwin game? Have at it. You can do as you please. But to me, Lockett and Metcalf locked, as I said. When we look at the tight ends here, George Kittle is realistically the only guy that's moving the needle for me here, because Seattle, as it stands right now, 31st overall against opposing tight ends. George Kittle, 10.5 on FanDuel, 8 grand on DK, $20 on Yahoo. Again, he is a lock for a touchdown as well. Kittle, DK Metcalf, and Christian McCaffrey, that trio, put that in an anytime touchdown parlay, and I'll see you on the other side here. When you look at Kittle, 6-7 targets, 4 or 5 receptions, 50 yards here. I do believe that, I got to put the notes down for a minute because I got to get serious. I do believe, true blue, that Kittle has one of those games where it's like, oh my God, did you see? We're going to be talking about this Friday morning and even into the weekend before that little triple header on Saturday. Did you see that touchdown by George Kittle? He had 3 guys on his back, 1 guy wrapped around each of his legs, and Kittle doesn't care. I don't know why. In my heart of hearts, I feel that way. So hey, here we go. Tyler Kroft, Charlie Werner, nothing special going over there. Tyler Kroft and Werner, they look to be number 2 and 3 on the depth chart. It's kind of ousted Ross Dwelly. Hey, we wish him the best as well. Tyler Kroft, 5 grand on FanDuel, 200 on DK, only $10 on Yahoo. When we look at the Seattle tight ends here, Noah Fant, Will Dissly, they're all interchangeable. And when you look at Font, 7 grand on FanDuel, Will Dissly, 6.5 on FanDuel, Colby Parkinson, 5 grand on FanDuel. So they're all like within a couple $100 of each other. Nothing crazy going on. Of the trio of the Seattle tight ends here, it would be Noah Font in order here: 4 to 5 targets, 3 to 4 receptions, around 30 yards. Will Dissly, 3 to 4 targets, 2 to 3 receptions, around 20 yards. When we look at the kickers here, and again, this game is going to be cold and rainy. I don't know if it's going to snow much, and defense is going to play a role here. But I do believe that both kickers have outstanding games. Robbie Gould, Jason Myers. I have Robbie Gould, 2 for 2 extra points, 2 for 2 field goals. And you can get Gould at 9.5 on FanDuel, $4,000 on DraftKings. And when we look at Jason Myers, the only difference here is an extra point, if that makes sense. So 3 for 3 XPs and 1 for 2 field goals for Jason Myers, 9 grand on FanDuel, 3.8 on DraftKings. When we look at the DSTs here, there's only one move to make here, and we all know that. And again, the masses know that as well. So sometimes when we play single game slates, or you write an article about a single game slate, or you do a video like this for a single game slate, sometimes we can get over on folks and go, you know what, I'm going to put the DST in my captain spot. A lot of folks are going to be doing that with San Francisco. So if you don't want to be left out in the cold, it is almost it is winter here. It's December. So to me, the 49ers, they have to be put in at least one captain or MVP spot. But other than that, we can move them around with the pieces of Lockett and DK Metcalf, a little bit of Christian McCaffrey. And as I said, Kittle makes for a nice move as well. So to me, the 49ers, 3 to 4 sacks, an interception. Do they get in on the ball, strip sack, a fumble recovery, something along those lines? The 49ers, 10 grand on FanDuel, 5 grand on DK, 19 bucks on Yahoo. And the Seahawks, that might be the move. Everybody's going to flock to San Francisco. What if we toss in the Seattle Seahawks DST at home against a rookie quarterback? He's as green as it gets, so the Seahawks at home, primarily on defense, have known to play a lot better, right? The Legion of Boom is gone, Beastquake, all that stuff is gone. But Seattle at home at 7-6 still has some they have a lot of gas in the tank, and as long as Pete Carroll is their head coach, this team and this organization is going to be well run. So to me, the Seahawks are the move at DST. Not completely being contrarian or try to tell the San Francisco people F you if you're going to play in the captain spot, but we have to think different. It's a single game slate Thursday night. Everybody and their mom is going to be around the TV to watch this game. Let's go over some betting trends. I'll give you the final score and we'll get the heck out of here. We're 15 minutes in. I stuttered and stammered my way through this thing, but when you look at the 49ers, they're 3-9 against the spread their last 12 Thursday night football games. That makes sense. The over 4-1 Seattle's last 5 games overall. The over 5-2 San Francisco's last 7 games. And this one, it hits me where it hurts. When you look at this one, San Francisco 2-8-1 their last 11 games in Seattle. San Francisco just doesn't play well in Seattle. So for that fact, I have the Seattle Seahawks to win this one in a shocker, 24-20, and the Seahawks are getting 3 points. So give me the Seattle Seahawks +3 to win this game outright in what should be a very good and fun game. Not a snoozer, a game that we're going to leave on until the clocks are all zero. So if you're going to stay up late on Thursday tonight, just make sure it is watching this game. So be good, be safe. Christian McCaffrey, DK Metcalf, and what I say, George Kittle, anytime touchdown bets, and give me the Seattle Seahawks to win this thing, and they're getting 3 points. It's such a sweet deal. Seattle wins this one 24-20, and I'll see you on Saturday. I got something cool up my sleeve for all of you. We're watching a back-to-back football games on Saturday. I will see you Saturday. Be good. Seattle wins 24-20. Bye-bye.